Hello and welcome to Precon Decon, the video series where I deconstruct the pre-constructed decks of Magic the Gathering's history. In this video we are continuing our look at the Planar Chaos set, and we're going to look at Rituals of Rebirth, which is a tricolour deck, which is always a pleasure to look at on these on this channel. I always like it when a deck is tricoloured, and this is a deck that actually is tricoloured properly. So let's look at it. So we have 23 creatures, 8 sorceries, 5 instants, 24 land, mana curve off to the side there. And like I say, unlike the last no, because we looked at slivers last, didn't we? We have looked at a few tricolour decks where they've not really been tricolour decks. This one at least has a decent mix of green and white and black. So yeah, always nice when a tricolour deck is actually benefiting from being tricolour. Anyway, let's look at that. So, what's the theme of the deck? So the theme of the deck is it's basically like a reanimation deck. And I think it's actually doing a decent job of doing it, or as good as it can do based on the card pool. So let's start by looking at some like the big creatures that you kind of want to reanimate. Try and get them on the board early. So we have a single Bog Serpent. Unfortunately, this is not a great start, though. So Bog Serpent is 5 cards and black for a 5/5. Can't attack unless a defending player controls a swamp, and when you control no swamps, you sacrifice Bog Serpent. So it is a color-shifted version of Sea Serpent, which is like a really old card, and that's why it has kind of like these drawbacks. I'd say, it's 6 mana for a 5/5. It's not even like kind of decently costed, like its text boxes or drawback. So this is unfortunately like a bit of a miss. 2 Havenwood Worms, 7 mana for a 5/6 with Flash and Trample. Big old stompy creature. Flashing this down at instant speed as a surprise blocker would definitely mess up some combat. So yeah, I think Havenwood Worm, it's a perfectly fine card. Perfectly serviceable common. 2 Jedit's Dragoons, 6 mana for a 2/5 with Vigilance. When it comes in play, you gain 4 life. I feel like this is very expensive. Honestly, I really feel like this could be like 5 mana and it would be fine. Like a 2/5 Vigilance and gaining 4. I just know it just feels, I don't know. Either needs higher power, I reckon. Like if this was, I don't know, if this is like a 4/4 with Vigilance and you gain 4 life, oh my god, that'd be really good. If it was basically like Serra Angel, but without flying, but you have the life gain. I don't know. But yeah, I feel like this is a little underwhelming, honestly. I mean, it's okay. And then one of the rares in the deck is Jedit Ojanen of Afrava. So 3 colours and 3 green for a 5/5. The triple green is kind of painful in a 3-colour deck, honestly. So it's Forest Walk, and whenever it attacks or blocks, you create a 2/2 green Cat Warrior creature token which has Forest Walk. So this is kind of a card I guess you're trying to get into the graveyard so you can reanimate it, because hard casting this, I say, with the triple green is going to be difficult. But yeah, I mean, like once it gets down, like really, really good card. Like every combat phase, you're essentially getting another creature on the board. And if your opponent's playing green as well, this would be really hard to deal with. So yeah, Jedit is pretty good. This is I think it's like meant to be an alternate universe version of God, was it? I mean, he's still Jedit in the original card, but there's the old Legends card where he's just like he's a white-blue card, and he's still like a cat man guy, but he's like just a 5/7 for like 8 mana or something absurd. I think this is meant to be like a alternate universe version of him where he I don't know where he did. I don't know the lore about Jedit Ojana. He's just a big tiger guy. He looks cool. Phantasmagorian. This is interesting. So 5 colours and 2 black for a 6/6. When you cast Phantasmagorian, any player can discard 3 cards, and if they do, Phantasmagorian is countered, and you can discard 3 cards to get Phantasmagorian from your graveyard back into your hand. So, this is kind of a way of getting your other creatures into your graveyard for reanimation, but you've got to jump through some hoops to do it. There's quite a few black cards in Planar Chaos that have this. It basically gives your opponent a choice of they can do something to counter it or something, or they have a choice in how it plays out. But it's such a high cost, and most people won't normally want to do it. But you actually want someone to counter this because you want it in your graveyard, so you can do what this deck wants to do, which is discard your other creature cards into the graveyard so you can reanimate them. Yeah. But yeah, Phantasmagorian is kind of okay, kind of a kind of a tricky card to use. Single Twisted Abomination. Great card to time shift here from Scourge. Just 6 mana for a 5/3. Regenerates for a single black mana and has swamp cycling for 2. So this is a card that you can discard early to its swamp cycling ability, and then it's in your graveyard ready to reanimate. And one way you can reanimate it is with Teneb the Harvester, who is the other rare in the deck. So 3 cards, 1 black, 1 green, 1 white for a 6/6 flyer. Whenever it deals combat damage to a player, you can pay 2 cards and a black, and if you do, you reanimate a creature from any graveyard. So Teneb is great. So Planar Chaos had these enemy wedge color dragons. They're meant to be a parallel to the invasion primordial dragons like Daragaz and Crosus, but these are all in the like the wedge colors. And that was really interesting at the time because I think these are like the first enemy wedge colored legendary creatures. And I think this was sort of the time that maybe it wasn't called Commander at the time; it was just EDH. That was kind of starting to pick up a bit more. So I think these were like really, really exciting, and they all have like really big, exciting effects. So this is unfortunately the only deck that has one of these dragons, but there are like 4 others in each of the other tricolor combinations. So Teneb is pretty good. Obviously, reanimates creatures. I always think her. I'm not sure on Teneb's gender. I'm sure someone out there will be happy to tell me. Link me to a lore article on a wiki. But I always felt the ability is a bit like win more. Like you've already hit your opponent with a 6/6 dragon. To then reanimate a creature, you're probably doing all right if you've got Teneb on the board. I'm not sure you need to start reanimating stuff as well. And that's kind of the with all these dragons, their abilities are so good, but you've already got a 6/6 dragon, you've already hit your opponent with them. Do you really need the extra ability? And I mean, yeah, usually, I mean, obviously, it helps you win a bit quicker, but I hope I hope you get what I'm conveying. That if you got Teneb on the board and you've hit your opponent, you're doing okay. You might not need to reanimate stuff. And then we have a bunch of ways of getting cards into your graveyard, which is really great, which is what this deck really wants to do. And it's really nice to see a reanimated deck actually using reanimated deck tactics rather than just being, I don't know, I think there's been some attempts at reanimated decks before in this series, where it's just been kind of oh well, it'll kind of happen. You'll kind of get cards into your graveyard naturally. But this is a deck that is generally taking good strides to actually get stuff into your graveyard ready to reanimate. So we have 3 Faadia Seer. I have no idea how to pronounce that. I'm sure someone will correct me. 1 card, 1 green for a 1/1. Tap, draw a card, and reveal it. If it isn't a land, discard it. So great. Only it filters out non-land cards, which is fine. 2 green seekers, 1 green for a 1/1. 1 green, tap, discard a card, set your library for a basic land card, reveal it, put into your hand, then shuffle your library. So yeah, this is a good way of ditching your expensive stuff and then searching up your land as well. So yep, that's perfectly good. 2 Acacian Criers, 2 cards and a white for a 1/1. 1 card and a white, tap, discard a card to create 2 1/1 citizens. So yep, again, discard your expensive stuff and make some tokens, which will be relevant when we look at some of the cards at the moment, because some of your cards, 1 card in particular, really likes tokens. And then we have a single Sengir Autocrat. This is a great time-shifted card, Gargamel, as he is nicknamed. 3 cards in the black, 2/2. When Sengir Autocrat comes into play, you create 3 0/1 black Smurf creature tokens. Hence, I mean, I know they're not Smurfs, but come on, he's Gargamel. He makes black Smurfs. Come on. And when Sengir Autocrat leaves play, you exile all your Surf tokens. So this is really good. You play it, and it's adding 4 bodies to the board for only 4 mana, which is, I mean, that's pretty good. Even if you're not using the tokens for some of the other purposes in this deck, just having 3 0/1 blockers is really, really good. 2 Essence Wardens. This is one of the cards that really likes tokens. It's green Soul Warden, and Soul Warden is such a good card. So to make it green and to make it an elf as well, so put it in the best green tribe as well. Yeah, this card is an absolute menace. Yeah, so it's just 1/1 for 1. Whenever a creature enters the battlefield, you gain life. Yeah, just super good card. A single spike feeder, so this is a time shifted card back from Tempest. The super gross spikes, who I hate as a try because they're so gross. One card and 2 green, 0/0 comes into play with 2+1 counters on it. You can pay 2 and remove a counter to put a counter onto another creature, or you can remove a counter to gain 2 life. It's a weird card to time shift, and it's just a weird card to have in this deck. I don't really know if it's really contributing that much, honestly. It's just I don't know, it just feels like it doesn't match in this deck, personally. And then a single Wall of Roots. This is pretty good. So 1 constant green for a 0/5 defender. You can put a -0/-1 counter on it to give yourself 1 green mana. Activate this ability only once a turn. So it's kind of like a mana dork, but it doesn't. So I guess you would compare this to Vine Trellis. Vine Trellis is a 0/4 that taps for green. This is it's kind of this will slowly like kill itself with its ability, but you don't have to tap it to use its ability, I suppose. So in that regard, that's an advantage over Vine Trellis, that it's not tapping and then it's not removing itself as a blocker, I suppose. You can use this ability and still keep it around to block. So yeah, Wall of Roots I think is pretty good. Right, and then we have 3 Dread Return. Right, this is the card. This is you can't actually play this deck now because it is banned in Modern, Dread Return, because it is very good. So 2 colors and 2 black. Return a creature card from your graveyard to play, and you can flash back by sacrificing 3 creatures. So even if you discard this card to like your Spell Shapers or the Fa'adia Seer, as long as you got your tokens out, you can still play this card. You just flash it back by sacrificing 3 creatures. You know, you can get this. You can play this essentially twice in the turn for only 4 mana. You pay your 4 and you bring something back, and then you sacrifice 3 creatures, which you might have. You've got a few ways of creating tokens in this deck, and then you reanimate something else, and you got 3 of them. It's really good. Really good card to have like 3 of in the deck. And then we have a single Resurrection, which is honestly, compared to Dread Return, really not as impressive. 2 cards and 2 white, and it just returns a single creature card from your graveyard to play. But no flashback or anything, which is boo, not as good as Dread Return. But you know, it's still fine. It's still fine as a reanimation spell. But Dread Return is where it's at. And then 3 Evolution Charms. So this is potentially, I think, my favourite card in all of Planar Chaos. It is so good. If over the years, if I was building a green deck, I would find a way to put Evolution Charm in there because I think it's really good. All the effects are very good. So 1 card, 1 green, instant. Choose 1. Search your library for a basic land card, reveal it, put into your hand, then shuffle. So that's instant speed land searching, which is pretty good. Or return a creature card from your graveyard to play. To play, that'd be amazing. Graveyard to hand, so it's an instant speed raise dead effect. Or a creature gets flying till end turn. In green, you can give a creature flying in green. That's amazing. Yeah, this is a great card. I love this card just because all 3 of those effects are really good. Yeah, the land search, the raise dead, or the evasion. Yeah, just super good. I love this card. I'm so happy there's 3 of them in this deck. This is my favorite charm out of the Planar Chaos. And I said, I think it's probably one of my favorite cards out of Planar Chaos, the whole set. Yeah, just it's never let me down in a game where I've played it. And then 2, Rebuff the Wicked, white counterspell, which is always cool to see. 1 white mana, counters a spell that targets a permanent you control. Yeah, just good. Stops removal and all other kinds of stuff. So yeah, I like Rebuff the Wicked. And then we have 2 harmonizers, so 2 colors and 2 green to draw 3 cards. This is a color shifted concentrate, but this is now like the norm, I think, for green draw spells. And yeah, it's just pretty good. Not much to say on that. And then 2 search for tomorrows, so a bit more land searching in your tricolor deck. So 2 colors and a green. Search your library for a basic land card, put into play. Comes into play untapped, which is important. And then shuffle your library, or you can spend it for a single green mana, and then get it 2 turns later. So yeah, this is good. This is a good card. And then 2 Terramorph Expanse. Really wish there'd been maybe 3 or even 4, just because it is a tricolor deck. But you know, just having even 2, I think, is fine in this deck. Obviously, you've got some land searching abilities with Green Seeker and Search for Tomorrow and the Evolution Charm. So I'm not sure if the Terramorph Expanse is as important, but yeah, it's still doing a good job here. So it could have been. So I think this deck's actually, I think this one's put together pretty well again. There's a few cards I think could have been in here. Like some of the big creatures, like yeah, like the bog serpent or Jedit's dragoons, are like a little bit weak. So I just think there's some things that could have gone in instead. So Deadwood Treefolk is a potential, I think. So 6 mana for 3/6 as vanishing. When it comes to play or when it leaves play, you get another creature from your graveyard back into your hand, so it's like a raised dead effect. Yeah, I think that could have been okay. Penumbra Spider, I really like Penumbra Spider. This thing has been reprinted like a billion times. So 2 colors and 2 green for a 2/4. It's Giant Spider, except when it dies, it makes a token copy of itself, except it's black. So yeah, just a good thing to sacrifice to Dread Return. And it just, I think, plays into the theme of the deck, which is things die and you still get something out of it. Pit Keeper, I think this would have been okay, I suppose. 1 color, 1 black for a 2/1. When it comes into play, you get to raise dead if you have 4 or more creature cards in your graveyard. It's okay, I suppose. And then maybe it's an alternative rare. I'm not sure about this actually. I was kind of hurting for because honestly, I think like the cards in here are the best it can do. But Porphyry Nodes. So 1 white mana. Honestly, I think I just put this in because I wanted to talk about Porphyry Nodes. So 1 white mana for an enchantment. At the beginning of your upkeep, destroy the creature with the least power, and it can't be regenerated. If 2 or more creatures are tied for least power, you choose one of them, and when there are no creatures in play, you sacrifice Porphyry Nodes. So this is a color shifted version of Drop of Honey from Arabian Nights. So yeah, just slowly kills off the weakest creature every turn until only like your big fat creatures are left, I suppose. But I'm not sure if that would maybe work too well in this deck, just because you're reliant on quite a lot of the weenies just to get your engine running, like discarding cards and stuff. So maybe. So in summary, yeah, I think this one's pretty good. It's really nice to have like a reanimator deck that's actually, I feel like, doing it properly. And maybe I don't know. I was gonna say maybe blue instead of white might have been a bit better, just because you get more card draw and potentially more like looting effects, like you can draw and discard more. Maybe, but I think it's really good in the state it's in. And I say it's just nice to have a tricolor deck that actually feels triple colored rather than being majority 2 colors and then the third color is just in there kind of as an afterthought. So yeah, I really like Rituals of Rebirth. And I say it's a good springboard, I think, to refine it and make it like more focused on the reanimation effects, like get some better creatures in here rather than like Bog Serpent and Jedit's Dragoons, But yeah, overall, really like this one. But what are your thoughts on the deck after seeing the deck list? Did you have this deck? Do you have any thoughts or opinions or stories about the deck? Please, put a comment below. Always like reading people's comments on these decks. But yeah, next time I'll be back to look at the last Planar Chaos pre-constructed deck. But until then, thank you for watching and listening, and have a great day.